Hello everyone, and welcome back to History of the Ancient World. Today we're diving into one of the most significant inventions in human history, the alphabet. Specifically, we're exploring the story of the Phoenician alphabet, the ancestor of most writing systems we use today. Have you ever wondered why the letter A looks the way it does? Or how we went from complex pictures to simple letters? The answer lies with a remarkable group of ancient mariners and merchants, the Phoenicians. So, who were the Phoenicians? Around 1500 BC, they emerged as a major maritime power in the Levant, a region that's modern-day Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. They weren't a single unified empire, but a collection of independent city-states like Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos. What they lacked in military might, they more than made up for in commercial genius. Their ships, made from the famous cedars of Lebanon, sailed across the Mediterranean, establishing a vast trading network that stretched from Egypt to the Atlantic coast of Spain. They traded everything from timber and glass to their most famous export, a precious purple dye extracted from sea snails, which was so expensive it became a symbol of royalty. As their trade empire grew, the Phoenicians faced a major problem. The writing systems of the time, like Egyptian hieroglyphs or Mesopotamian cuneiform, were incredibly complex. They involved hundreds, sometimes thousands of signs. Learning to read and write was a full-time job, reserved for a small, elite class of scribes. For a busy merchant trying to keep track of cargo, sales, and contracts in different ports, this was just too slow and cumbersome. They needed something faster, simpler, and more efficient. They needed a system that anyone could learn quickly. This practical need for a better way to do business was the driving force behind their groundbreaking invention. Around 1200 BC, drawing inspiration from earlier, less developed scripts like the Proto-Sinaitic script, the Phoenicians developed a system that was revolutionary in its simplicity. Instead of using a picture to represent a whole word or a syllable, they created a system where each symbol represented a single consonant sound. This is the core concept of an alphabet. Think about it. A handful of symbols that can be combined to represent any spoken word. It was a complete game changer. The original Phoenician alphabet had 22 letters and it was a purely consonantal script, also known as an abjad. This means it had no vowels. Speakers were expected to know which vowels to supply based on context. This might sound strange to us, but it works perfectly well for many Semitic languages, including the Phoenician language itself. The names of the letters were based on common words that started with that sound. For example, the first letter, Aleph, meant ox, and the letter itself was a simplified drawing of an ox's head. The second letter, Bet, meant house, and it looked like a simple floor plan. Does Aleph Bet sound familiar? That's right, it's the origin of the word alphabet. Let's trace the journey of a few letters to see how they evolved. Take Aleph, the ox head. The Phoenicians wrote it on its side. When the Greeks adopted it, they rotated it and added a vowel sound, calling it alpha. The Romans then borrowed it from the Greeks and it became the letter A we know and love. What about Bet the house? The Greeks flipped it and called it beta. The Romans straightened its back and it became our letter B. Gimel, a throwing stick, became the Greek gamma and the Roman C and G. Dalet, the word for door, was a triangle that became the Greek delta and our D. You can see this pattern for almost every letter. The Phoenician script was written from right to left, which is why many early Greek inscriptions are also written this way, or in a fascinating style called baustrophodon, meaning as the ox plows, where the lines alternate direction. The simplicity and efficiency of the Phoenician alphabet were its superpowers. As Phoenician traders sailed across the Mediterranean, their writing system sailed with them. It was a tool of commerce, not of kings or priests. Merchants, sailors, and artisans in foreign ports saw how easy it was to use and quickly adopted it for their own languages. The script spread like wildfire. To the west, the Greeks adopted it around the 8th century BC. This was a pivotal moment. The Greeks made a crucial modification. they assigned some of the Phoenician letters that represented sounds not present in Greek to represent vowel sounds. This created the first true alphabet, with both consonants and vowels. From Greece, the alphabet's journey continued. The Etruscans in Italy adopted the Greek version, modified it, and then passed it on to a rising power on the Italian peninsula, the Romans. The Romans adapted the Etruscan alphabet to fit the Latin language, refining the shapes of the letters into the elegant forms we recognize today as the Latin alphabet. As the Roman Empire expanded, it carried the Latin alphabet across Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. It became the foundation for English, Spanish, French, German, and hundreds of other languages. That means the very words I'm speaking, and the letters you might see in the title of this video, are the direct descendants of those 22 symbols created by ancient Phoenician merchants. But the story doesn't end there. The Phoenician script also spread eastward. The Aramaic alphabet, which became the official script of the Persian Empire, was a direct descendant. From Aramaic, a whole family of scripts emerged, including the Hebrew alphabet and the Arabic alphabet. Further east, scripts used in India and Southeast Asia, like Brahmi, also show influences that can be traced back to these Aramaic systems. It's astonishing to think that nearly every major alphabet in use today, from the one you're reading right now to Arabic, Hebrew, and Cyrillic, can trace its lineage back to this single source. The invention of the Phoenician alphabet was more than just a new way to write. It was a democratizing force. By making literacy accessible to the general population, not just a select few, it broke the scribal monopoly on information. It empowered individuals and fueled intellectual revolutions. Commerce, law, science, philosophy, and literature could all be recorded and shared more easily than ever before. The rise of Greek philosophy and democracy, the codification of Roman law, the spread of major world religions, all of these monumental developments were facilitated by the widespread literacy that a simple alphabet made possible. So the next time you write an email, send a text message, or read a book, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey those letters have taken. From a picture of an ox in the ancient Levant, passed from merchant to merchant, adapted by Greeks, refined by Romans, and spread across the globe. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound changes in history don't come from a conqueror's sword, but from a simple, brilliant idea designed to solve a practical problem. The Phoenicians may not have built a lasting empire of land, but they created an empire of the mind, an empire of communication that has shaped the world we live in. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through ancient history. If you found this story fascinating, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments which ancient invention you'd like to learn about next. Until next time, stay curious.